o marang moula mayap aungil madangali arngula belang iseyaul akmul mogon our other belang
Mada mal klobo le ungil tuta we ungil longeim lo lurion mergi darokui e direkal gora a ungerul silsra bes longe albuil mang happy friday mal klobo le ungil tuta e mal masaula morwai e el al tuta we e kata ngara Udesuall e akmo oge tergi da Udesuall el almol mutra bol merega senkyo November man di swadan isir el altuta lo ase kada ngal tangatel mlosab ela artigal terul ngayas kal buigar bela wa Sylvester Alonz niya Chief Youth and Career Development ma Chief Yanni Mesubed el guk Chief Tourism why say mang kada mal marenga sulir el mlosab inmer el altutaw this what the ayamal was kadagora ulangit tra reapportionment committee el ngia chairman na kambes ko sole el mera el altutaw dimlo de halsabel ulangit el wase bol after sel 60 days el September 1 el almaral mel September 1st 2024 mal gora mo blagatakle ete direka oreng seranyus luaseng laangaringia ar adarabulul soril mol tutak el girel tial togora reapportionmental increase mo 15 el senators mungulngit luase ere bol luriura September 1st makmal ayamar kami luase ere mo klorangut oilir sel bol September 1st bol sa parira arwa chairman ra reapportionment committee mar adara kamitin me kuko isin mergi dalwase ngaraigel luuleng mle increase our senators el mo 15 kadamdingel waseng gora mal klowa ar adal di al supporter ti aluldas makatamal di lungyarngut maudongi retir ma September 1st and mel other derin mergi dalwase ngaraul mong mlowa isay mang malungil tutaw ekmul masa Chief Alonz ma Chief Mesubed el balo mula Chief Alonz lo ay sergi tulwase manggang buy garger ngalgel tang mlara skura ger mlal mutel relocate tel merbelaw ngara decision ringi mang relocate tel merbelaw order lobanggela sele super ministry ngi ma Mr. Yanni Mesubed madibol mrek tungul masanggang
Saya malingit tutaw am sulat al Miss Jennifer mertial show pala wave radio mortigel kora masamada ko kora ka dinge madya nga Sylvester Francis Alonz el ngaligal Aloysius Alonz ma lintakawo el born and raised at Clubol Ruda Orior ngul el ngaligal tar founder Orior ma makmal misisi lo duber say Sylvester late former senator Sylvester Alonz nga kamlara school ra Maristela elementary high school ra Vicente tilob ra 2016 gotak mara school ra bar del mara Loyola University Chicago Malaga Bachelor nga we say 2020 akmara school ra Paris France Sciences Po Paris kuk nila masters nga human rights and humanitarian action amal mokter mak spal termal uspering il relocate mas ngam na kera ngabard mga na kera Europe nga gel experiences nga ma schooler was swal may cook te leg te mer تلاتالهم سوب المشو سربا بالوار بلور بيلا وست ومرق وست هذا كلهم يلبلو التسقوم التال بيلا ومنا موضوري يرس البلو السبب الطب در هاي سكول مقمر غبارد مقمر بلو در باريس الدور البراود الأدر بيلا وسن بايسن باير مقتل من ماي أقولك كنت مكلاو ريلا غرايق كوربا بتسوي غنيدي لوبس أقبورنيل كوك مكرار بيلا أنا كوك next دوري يرس So, the more you say, nga ka cheaper cell division of youth and career development, obviously youth ang ngela Bureau of Human Resources tel Super Ministry ak mo isegi da kukolila lawlan mora Chief Mesubed.
With 02AUG, Sulang Chen for inviting us this morning. 02AUG, we're together tuned in. Thank you for having us. Kung mas mamati alal ko may explain kasing kung gimil ka lang kung mertel through alal gimana ilal time. So nga ang klika alang la Yanni Mesubed, ngaligala Elmis Mesubed manano mito ribiyong. I went to Core Elementary School and then I promoted to Pala High School where I served 4 years as a student officer. And then I did 2 years in PCC and bukong to dal mura Taiwan. Maknara Taipei ngara skura Tamkang University Masubra Diplomacy and International Relations. So I had experiences with working with the embassy say. I was the first PNSP applicant to work outside of Palau in our office that's outside of Palau. My story is a bit different from Chief Alonz. Nga ka akti mo bla takling maybe ngok ngani ngok mo inspiration mo rabe bilang ngal outside the Belau. Nga ka mle mokti ka nga kal mutal may or chose to relocate wasn't actually a choice. Nara Taiwan, and then I graduated 2022. I stayed for a year working, and then I wanted to come back for a vacation. So I was originally here for a month. That was the plan. Dik may omtabel waseng mal batokate aler silbela wal dim lakring sa isel. And that's one of the biggest issues that I see with the youth who are outside. Mal gagarisel awareness and more tigil nga kilabela kasi bela it's at an age namustat el mar ade namustat el musuwa besel toy il besel toy open up ko to all opportunities el mura ngala ko. So that was the reason why I stayed. Like mla mesal kumla saying belaw rak kotel maral melalta mla chance
Kamirar oy ngarang.
Akmira 2017.
O meela o blamira 2024.
Yes.
And then you see
I see
advance.
Advance, a lot of new infrastructures that we see, a lot of new developments in terms of policies, strategies, how to move forward. And that's good because it gives us a direction and a goal that we want to achieve. Masigit ako karamli experiences na and I'm very grateful that I did. Hindi ako nga ako klika dito nga Taiwan ang madel mingir nga ke nga kangarte ang chibra compliance sa Bureau of Tourism. So I still have to find time to go back and pick them up. But yes, that's my story, and I hope it encourages, or I hope that outside other bilal nga outside araming sa kumlasing it's home and it's filled with opportunities and it protects the people of Palau to thrive in the world that we live in.
Mael ako gangara akaw halebait pak kugera ka leg ngaya appointment der ka makatimam tale maral mangaray gel moru rategi del ministry ra ko department der komira tourism ngara ko mlakut mokla el sab el benefit der ni ar adarabalu mar other belaw makukti kal tourist der gidel may.
So nga ka ulmo ululaw ngala Super Ministry, specifically Bureau of Tourism, PBA, last year as a private consultant through the Asian Development Bank. Almomot mo kasi Sylvester tourism strategy gid other belaw. Se malungil ring iya mo help identify kung wasing el alta el blada reopen after COVID. What type of visitors at Belaw share the same values of other Belaw in terms of sustainable tourism, ecotourism, eco-friendly, and who are more mindful of their actions to their surroundings. So we've, through the consultations and assessments at Tel Project, el mo sa tourism strategy, gimla mitrar pa to stakeholders. One by one, el logger tiluk mulasing ngara what role do you play in the tourism field, the arena, and how do they work together? And that's one of the issues that we've seen. That's like makluwa cooperation, communication na that's like tolen deka document lo kasi how do we communicate? Who do we report to? What data do we need? What type of data do we need to collect? And how do we read that data, or how do we analyze? Kadamal aim ra sustainability, ecotourism, business, finance. The one gap ra ang dia ka measurements or indicators kasi how far along are we sustainable now? Hindi kasi the almost nature club ko kasi sustainable belaw.
Masem sa cell data ko motor girel cell data time.
So ela la transitional mo chibra government and diktir ko real mong gel el project na nga ADB finishing so agi plan el to submit ra final draft ra October, beginning October. Ese mo help identify kung saying how do we work together nga kakaro sa stakeholders sa makal el tourism field makaragi mo ra state being the resource owners, how do we help them develop to the level they want to be developed to. How do we connect them to the correct grants or financial aid to help them develop issues with their human capacity or infrastructure developments and accessibility ng mga sites or tips will offer any workshops, training workshop that they need. Ay mo give help ensure the players in the tourism arena they receive them.
Mang el sel mo sa ta grants makoranges ay geng mulsi sa brigay del sel to miserable rairay Michael historical sites sa blur ngar mlangoy maoygul mangrar ay geng through your office komol nga sa Rigal State Office lolgi sa Rigal historical site tan mo sa perira tourist tan morngi with Palau Visitors Authority coordinate.
So sige dal lokol ni daksak man sa communication kasi magaragi communicate from the states develop agay states or revitalize agay assets there. BCHP obviously the Bureau of Cultural and Historical Development tiri la bay mal MCC help agay dal concept malangis urigel maintain agay dal sites and how to open it. PVM so is kasi how do you make it a product, how do you market it. Ngayawan na udol was dasa dal introduce abes el material into a registered cultural or historical site and stay pristine as possible. And ding sige ilang kel strategy mo help rangal lokora map out ay ko grants and yes well specifically more at tourism development mong dakal deal sites. The most sites get bela ay cultural and historical lokok ngarela sige book beer historical ma cultural. Gibay o siga yes well help develop capacity building. Let's say that direct experiential training kasi how to become a tour guide, how to become a tourist, what services do you need to have, what qualities do you need to have as a tour guide, and how do you, if you want to be an entrepreneur, these are the few steps. So direct kalbato ka wa trigal Palau Entrepreneurs for Growth wa Irene direct mal modul regigit ko training certificate magaram start off a business. Egila so to put together help map out kasi step 1 nga makarang, step 2 nga more, step 3 ko.
Masen tulway say kamsa ta tour guides ma tora tourism. Sel ngaramong era COVID ang batokar ngidil adrangod albulu el tour guide. Ngaring niya ko rabe esel policy blamgat maklil wasen diang girem el other bela tour guide el waisel to pora Israel mapipirablu girem el other sel belu tour guide mang kom gora ka compliance officer ra kora so kalogel wasig ngaring sel koram lamgat mokla.
So currently hindi ka luuth or regulations of mga tour guide must Palawan owner agil Palawan ding by swadal kung say instead top del tiragay del foreigners maradol sis service and they'll work together nga sa kwasing other belawa local tour guide del smodi agay del alagal balu selabong and boy agay del counterpart del adrang del balu help translate more so they have that authentic experience and fully understand kasi not just our environment is pristine, but also our culture is pristine, and it's still with us.
For the Lucia colleague one of your own. So said here uploads follow getting you said obviously question or end product take the project of the Marcel will end tell tourist tell framework demo of them la enforcing him more require a state or tawara the guide and support their tira na kut mok make or best das end product tell
so
I tell you
technically I can't say anything concrete. It must say what will it look like because it's still in the drafting stages. Hopefully after August talgibo murura self validation phase magiblam nila first draft ito din murablul kung kasi tagi la first draft. Do you agree that this goes with your priorities? Ang sabami will rumula gigil propose ng earlier tiyang else kung ngani sorry tweak ring or change ring gi mo modify ring mo auto di segidel mo final draft tamo help identify po sa mga nagilid mo lo ngirel chen sa ngaral obvious agilid baccalaureate ngaral la agilid mo mo support the technical business strategy in order to achieve regular national goals especially or specifically yung Palau development plan magi mo align at agil master plan sa below mo fit into the tourism strategy tourism strategy mo fit into the national plan rabelaw.
Meela ka marulaw ral kita la ADB selbo maret seng moklok la government tervelaw adang moklok la ADB
moklok la government tervelaw
di ta funding
Australia government funding
okay,
yes
okay.
ADB project management
meela tia luriol ngara tourism tial technology ma digital marketing magara kuram la transform ra tial lurele der el alblula
where I get going to the omitted tell one here lang that'll stop area chibra you so gam memang kwasa customer lawyer private consultant they go gumilgal by ngdi arungo kadi consultant kadi mer obviously that's one time ko di elat time was gonna mo chip mo gidan Mesubed mer we are 8 o'clock to 2000 gerela
no way say ngok ngani agil ula governmental group comply to
no but I mean we understand the kasi to ra ATV matyalurele mawal partner it makalo so I think that
I worked as an ADB consultant private and the man like I was with Bureau of Tourism at PBA for a whole year super ministry lang gini kalamo tiri para understand their tiri analyze kasi how do they do their job because I have to know from the inside out and they have to be involved.
Half fraud with them, yeah.
No, I'm fully government.
Oh, fully government. Okay.
Yeah.
Ding kamalmol man brutal project and the a rep government
as the chief of compliance and it's also my job in my scope of service to provide the development of strategies and policies that support the tourism industry.
Okay, so we go back to my question. RFID Google again. Adang somel mo host. Nga orre then maray makatokorati orre mang simutin Marcel garigul wase magara technology ma digital marketing ako ram la transform ma trend dera tourism.
One thing also sa kanila or it's like an advice ako mula siya blue la ati mal develop in terms of technology ma digitalization. I don't think in my personal opinion I don't think local leaders sa blue la mot magyak mula siya dulutulobult na mo I don't think that's ever gonna happen. So ngungil la blada adapt mo regarding technology ma digital opportunities then help bring el tailor el morar okay al swad al may communicate lo better and I want to give praise to PVA because they're doing a great job in marketing the namamudu el single type of market as well el so because most start el disregard the nationality because start el aim ra segments within that national those groups of people among other Europe, what type of Europeans do we want? Do we want the eco-friendly, the mindful, the environmentally mindful? Madam Nigel, Madra Asia, ang swat tigel sabaril everything mula si value sa that they need to be taken care of. There's a reason why we have the Palau Pledge. ensure kung wala siya kamamal stewards or tel balo ma'am makami will guest the mertia nga OCCY gal values sa gidel take care tel pristine paradise palaw
mang yalas tel garieg en giramel mrala se mang with all the work gamarura yung la tourism mang ngaraigel blamwes al ubang tokol moru lang policy el sab ML help pertigay gidel locally owned tour shops or dive shops because seldoreg seng ngai tigal adara locally owned igal mom and pops dive shops ma tours tour the guides omon dialing tadi for some reason ar ngarbabl ada may also seperti gay gidel adal nga nyaw do dire end up take over feel wase gada di marula la al accommodator adarangot al blue and then dia protect our local mang ngaring ya ko ra policy mo mes al ubmot mokal giri tigay gidel locally owned tour shops dive shops
so gigit ko ra small medium enterprises are locally owned especially other belawa ang mo part strategy sa gidel help build a local community el mo involved el mo leader ra tourism of Belaw so awlang man mo close to lagi ma identify agi the needs ra states the states for being the resource owners like that tourism products rigid giram mo direct mula se tigero will interested el mo part ra tourism so mi lo show by so mi magarang en ngaramos spell develop el mo se el ngaramos hospera a document lo Isra alaga rogul adurablu and how do I put that into a manual el adal iwi subi and more so it's more like enhancing I gave the locally owned locally owned businesses or the tourism involved tourism how do we enhance their product their activities their services almost a very detail na mo sa market ra okay that's at their lungil for them
malungil kamarad musula I think you have a lot of information manglagok ti mo nga ma Chief Alonz magadabayon ngito lo se ko mong melgora minister ka we mutal me
sure
legum da se ti the tourism bread and butter gid mo so del mutal
that's what everybody says
kotoreng sir ka you know ka ma Chief Alonz you're young you're energetic and you're just elak na mo understand dalo sing raw un ma minister ngira se gira del get with their kamil mlayang alak landi in a way I understand that lenge ataraw he always thinks forward
not get rid but ensure to you other folks that didn't pasub ma'am
no but I think
you're in good hands
ding ngungilal nga niya maklol atale you get the knowledge them from you know but you know I think achani sa ulger nga ratut kasusulwa nga mo tapi nga mo title artial talk show makase empowering the younger generation
that's
and
great
I think that's tiya ko ra mokte kasi ko ela ko mo tadur ka ma Chief Sylvester in the past na mo understand was ko mal energetic passion session mo magom maral lungil smart really we update target ulo ko mo maguto mel metod mo tadi do sa da to ra politics
no sige the transparency mal cloud to telen get mo blog tak kasi ngara luro ra ngaringi makatmo bigel adra blue like kya administration chance dira adra blue adi ngara blue
I say and they did sit to our locally owned adara tourist mang tamam tangal ka luwase ka cheaper tiya mga sumuarnya akora karir ang gamen 30 to spe anyo since il contactor kami ang gagok ngarayo te gagok ngat
so kaya specific message sa mortigal local tour operators matig local involved tourism makakita alang again SL Chief of Compliance sa Bureau of Tourism so if you need help or any information please contact nga feel free to contact nga kada eymesubed@gmail.com or kung contact na obvious na mara BOT or Sil Super Ministry and I'll be there 4882-626 Michael
Yeah,
may
and we'll,
gilbog,
May
yeah.
gilbog bebe.
Yeah.
Timbang na to 626.
Atang.
Ah,
Baka
susulang.
maraming sulang
Masulang.
I hope this
Sulang.
won't be your last.
No, it's the
Atang.
beginning of
Shall
many
we
more.
just- Atang. Baka maraming sulang.
Oh, may sulang.
We'll take a break and then you don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Wala kang
Okay,
sulang.
thank you.
Oo. Okay, now me and Sylvester.
Alright.
Can me. It's okay? Okay, Mr. Chief Alonz, elang makamuay sertial lura youth and career development ngara what are you kam karara
Youth and Career Development, mamasulat nila. Actually, akpay uspert tala lang by so they the imot project and mal klo ak nang tav dingira news sa last presidential press conference makmang asulala Mr. President His Excellency President Whips. Bas ka tala ko kwasang kamkora so di akora klol Urior Mrede Lantam Merangula West Kwasa Tegil project the National Youth Repository. It's a 2-year project that they were moving it last month. Mrada Urior for the next 2 years. And then I think that alone by Sabelungil Tapiker. Obviously either you the Malmar Rela Bekal Sils, they either local level, state, national, even national level. So obviously, unfortunately, that what Chief Mesubed them not tell and works more. Was division and one man division for the moment. Nga director nga Sairong, ma minister. So these say it, but we do our best with the wasang by Clo Rela, with our stakeholders, our partners. Ma talukot to Clo partner in my division and NGO. Say the best National Youth and Development Council. Chairperson ni Miss Diray Antonio Gal Miss Bella, who was actually chairperson before Apachento, so what of the real time. We had a few exchanges. By swamli sitel position chairperson was come the chair where we take the Apachento last year. But I think she did an excellent job blending the two roles. Sila toberom tera yudher bela when makutuk the kwase the chairperson end up with Miss Bella, but she's using both roles, regional and even at the global platform. Kaya the UN, kaya the SIDS, and there could Festival Pacific Festival.
And then I think there was ngania imol ati kam nombre kam lara tia belal ko ramal mil sel kay katebel al tal.
Yeah, I think it's the presentation of VNR. Youth, she was the youth representative, per se. So, but anyway, before more I get the role, I know that Dora Data, Dora Youth Repository is not necessarily Dora New York it's not the sexiest thing to talk about when was though we're obviously that youth, but yes, everything's going together. I work with the Division of Employment Services at Dora Career Development with their interns, college students, my school, and Dora Culture of PCHP. Cultural preservation, I got cultural activities, my lessons, my transfer of knowledge. But for the sustainability, tel obis smoke yudr bela at Dora Data say that well wumesini was the chloric gap. And actually tell me project the lulmo really work will take the position of money. Well, almost I'm getting to a year on our regular position. I'm gonna start that late 2023. So is because our priority for the next 2 years is to start the Tegil repository. So I look more Segil and then
Magam para so di Tegil 2-year project Mario del Gora mo understand del wase ngara ka mga mokle.
So the National Youth Repository, a 2-year research project, the Gutmakla database, my resource center, and more other in the context of career development, my job and career placement. So end product they're down by start to say them run me. At the end of 2 years, hopefully by end of spring 2026, Dekel contract partner nga Mackerel International. It's a US-based research firm. Mrula research. We're gonna data collection, my research, my analysis, the tool report at the end of 2 years. So at the end of the 2 years, there will be 2 reports. So one is the National Youth Profile 2024 to 2026. Where are the jobs report? I get report for obviously the 2 reasons. Number one, of course, it does satisfy that project requirement. The funding Department of Interior So initially, the Department of Interior was sort of economic analysis jobs, but obviously, youth like that obviously before myself. She actually had the foresight to let's make it a youth research, and then the model for the future. Even or that position So it's career development analysis. So I get the report last time government the National Youth Repository for 2 purposes. Policy sa government civil access one albasyo, one office, one website. The dashboard, the rogul data youth That's been organized and disaggregated. I get those data state and data I get people agencies and dekal aimer ma focus youth. And then open more up why I get the retail resource center. It'll match our youth and more educational opportunity, more employment, or to get young professionals in training, my career development. In a way, in the end, we'll have a system, we'll have reports, a database, and a system, but we have a new culture. Back with the agencies to specifically obviously youth focus even at the policy making level. And then one song setting is the central location for youth data. So for the next 2 years, we're gonna collect data. Not necessarily collect data. 14 or over 14 partners and agencies, my NGOs, my multi-state government have data. By that time, I like to think about it. Take that invite our other I think at the end of the day, there's issue empower youth and do it in a meaningful way. Take it the best of are you the mystery? And we always put the youth in a box. Take the one group and then almost a 1 year at them. So I'll challenge yourself don't put the youth in a box kasi either lang get the developer the how do we get the magarang rogul adal equal or so the top of the Sweden could clear that the youth at the end of the day give a future. The youth are not the future, they're the present. And
that's what Dr. Zeno say when he was here. Kadatik mo you the future and it's the present moment. So sem mongot mo kartya ka waseng dia ka po mo ral mala statistics al kom di mo mala raigal al tabe al ma NGOs al girel tial tokora youth el Rural Youth Database. Samtula sa youth database, kung mala information was it tamal ng tela youth, ngara kora career story, rang kam kora model kora mo.
Why say man sula talaga man yung iligay. So ko sa niya talaga mo excited mo National Youth Repository will collect census data or will consolidate census data that I use. So I get basically the information and the meaning I get obvious my agencies collect the age, my gender, age, gender, and residence. I get actually the funny thing about the question was I get results of the is actually not the findings we want to make. I get kultuklat findings. Langabora one office, they collect. Everybody is collecting data. What I'm trying to do is how to find a way to make the data communicate with each other. Material collect the data lo mesa clochasi. Ngari one to we look at the people in we look at trees, but sometimes never step back to look at the forest. So that's the thing with the youth repository. I get focus on data, of course, and it's a project with that line so yeah, contains census data for youth ages 14 to 35 on age, gender, education levels, my employment status. And then I get 14 agencies except for loading at other plus Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, my obviously civil service pension, Social Security, Head Start, my PCAA, my banco. So quote I want to minister we're collecting data from the womb to the tomb.
Hindi ka ba yung mo coordinate yung will communication ma information mo la as mal accurate.
I say.
Mang tial officer kami Chief Alonz ng Youth and Career Development. Do you nga ko ra material sa umil lomastrir especially ang high school maybe junior senior year or even tial freshman to senior year el gora sabril fil lomes fil ngil babier lol tulwase nga rasel gora adu ortir interest let's say alungir tora math or writing or tokora im lengguk tikat rogul ngal ga maloms nganyar guk sorry lola pa imori loader el guk tiakal rule adara obis makora wonder wase el al finally maringa atal ngara chief youth and development ngaringa gora igegital documents al ubang ang test ang commodore lo punta 3 years adara school al sab mil identify tigel ngal gal wase tiagita gora interest le baby that time marangal ga atwa bete edi halo tigel wase ngara sorin marula makora di okel wase ngara ko ngaringing
so by yung earlier mani agora gila digital o pa isbel lo iso ko ngani youth website so www.palaufutures.com el sabab matigningira website ta ministry matel website ta government palaugov.pw el mara is HRCTV super ministry. And I know material or the tech savvy audience ng tech was a super ministry and Mortel obviously you'll find the website there. So it actually touches on history ng our youth before Akmar Division actually mga community Akmar Red Cross and then Ramisenti High School mga yun at student I worked with them sa tamak na school akmitigitiro kwaset by responsive matarawa website and then I thought ahead or at least I had the freedom to think kwas at sungo matiraga elal reality ra tam kwas ngida di nga internet nga dang warigil halak pa mula website nga igel information of course ak college counselor at school mong tel website na masala to apply at school nga igel babier mo spell apply at school nga la parent ma guardian or commute how do you go about looking for school the support them they see igel really or wa obviously get a scholarship ma PCC ma igel go colleges active what tel EO yun martera last week. But the other half of the website that Lord Super Tegid Mulsadini was active in a school was of course good more at a classroom. I sent Sam Malugil Mading. Got more classroom identifier and other was an Trigal Mudura school, ma omsu, ma umdas, ma duma omlus. And one year baby a traditional classroom and that'll sell at their environment. Akpay mertel obis something I gave the program of cultural tourism even though active one man trigal gumam super mystery last month alorier cook a line I get urela the mag seven atam kuma Bureau of Tourism was ngani agora busted at the lit ngal wanna youth and now reach out to quasi interested at tourism Malubuk was ngani really were more about the again cook by a city the was seeing the relative my school ang aro or was about the cook the reality nga mo makwasa whisper partners I wouldn't know the communities as much as they do. So sell website so palafutures.com hopefully Mesubed say and again that was the repository but that's the relationship with Sado messaging Sado message data in makutuk like when Sado message data as a silo it tells a story in the double kutukla story then the was how the message admire or the individual oh the Nora high school drop out that's the end of the story. A repository as well was halado mesa environment ni halado mesa state halado mesa was you know ayal what cloud Mesubed ngani cloud look was nga rogul data meant muna story ni Mesubed nga you the one was we can say at risk you it was nga mararingi was there were reasons behind the dropout that were supported by data and then nga tagal dito ngok tagal hops from small jobs to small jobs and then limit ringi and then the whole time and dimla ngai the la dimla kalo ninge kwase ngani CTE program at PCC is from the 8th grade mala course ka college hands on or ngani job course from 16 and qualified boarding there can mala for equivalent of a 4-year certificate but with more hands on experience. In other words, what I'm trying to go touching was there's needs and then there are resources and then because of data or because of a lack of data or silo data they won't connect. My repository repository was chance mindset obvious from the top down was assume material you could understand the question direct but to do it together then Torah cooperation is the best way to save time and resources.
I see. So meral gora interesting lobby sir kamiuling gora dia ada salma loreng sa gora Udesuall giri youth kau tial mlameto de asma daigal Udesuall mongot mokal girel mang akora di wonder lesser baby rat time sel youth te gora dia amal activity makora wonder was mel atiagi del officer kau asab el coordinate lo bengal 16 states ma school maigal al dabe tigal necessarily igal el dabe ar maklon di el dabe ar youth why say
tell actually tell el dabe la malungil mal mola kultur bela ulang so the from perspective for in my observations because messer wa ngani youth groups my youth reps I got a group rawa state my gal hangar also example I gal hangar itself or your youth organizations there so sir ko to sois probes so what delegate in may was maka na mo ngral digit mo se ga na mo ngral regulate digit mak mas dia dalway say nga ma director nga kamal mo dongok la mo ngil so dit position in hiding il morning was kubay telobis so wal coordinator say ito ko tighter ngel nanira before youth coordinator at the club message was telugu nga the club say da hungal ra yagal the bell maigal NGO was nga ko police certificate was tigil makarang supiyong na club I can tell history obviously the malkamang way before akmer telobis and then so is babaselo das matera the kutmakla Mari tirigel maktelobis el omrang and then go the shagal decision was telobis I get el ngar forefront and mula program staff resources office cook not could get it say gitu mongari bebel so is because telobis I get ngar omlusel policy ma tutela policy and then ngari gel reflector a time was swather got makla pro swather the every daily operations about consists a program and medi the root selab lul volunteer partners ngani able question ko ba ngar obviously although bagel already ngani group ra youth ma the support the really lomakrela a grant ma resources and more team to civil put mok ngani able question down by gil mix I get gora karousel approach but for now will ang division was one priority take the question I guess about the ngawdas mahuk support mo this regular mahuk minister was ngara strategy to give material partners to give the national youth makrel but ra long term gudum das ra long term was let's how do they come sa tora wa data tell obviously the kul sebel ngania ku klisial milisi trigal migar al adr ngai dru al was after project the time at that time we're waiting for the right time to start to set Palau Leadership Academy initiative young professional development academy target the youth na start the lawyer it was gonna start the lawyer bibler gumiro nga wa positions sa chief and leadership but of course goes back to legal orientation or development as a young professional to have a meaningful career build up skills we say that project that's about the hopefully in the near future wasn't cooks about the
tila pa malungin help and encourage and empower the young professionals especially why Commissar Chief Mesubed tilog na mo 4 months al mobile may I think ang semal sabil groom may definer tiral malmongil raw really makuk tolo rural sila community me elang ngaringiya segureng sa kang goramok medal wall kaya the youth and career development WIOA at Rexel summer before it blool ngayon sel gora job shadow program lobanggela pala high school se kom gora coordinate tel girel kom makami ma WIOA through kaya sabel youth and career development sabel coordinate lobanggela WIOA through tel job shadow program.
So I got job shadow, yeah. So that's actually only example la coordination logo policy. So WIOA ma Palau High School ma PNSP tel mo program material internship we there audio together the division actually with the Bureau of Human Resources so to involve apmal partner was Triga sorry tel current youth policy active till 2022 and 2027 youth policy magi mot makalorier was ngaigal priority area policy ngaigal or ngaigal listed priority area ngaram guk na observing it arela of their partners so sel example set or mental health and then by well the highlight to take the one program of WIOA summer job placement at WIOA they're not just working 9 to 5 every Friday every Friday or every other Friday a WIOA Ministry of Health a wellness session or trigal youth participants so one on Friday to Khmer Civic Center that space the main rule session or trigal anger management kasi at kung at risk history ko kasi takal semen or take them the issue ka ngaya one session or say it ngaya one session of financial management well lang to was agi first time read the lawyer summer job and the you want to but chat to do that magim la kola wa bank of Hawaii was send our advisor ko mi tinggal modul present to got maklugo presentation you say one session and obviously behavioral health who could stress management how to relieve pressure overwhelmed personal situations and then to the stand back was at risk case the cook referring in more hospital through the official channels I'm a softer person to approach with less stigma was ta mga the achiever you nga given support tira was nga or issuing albang ring and then go the dresser say so say the cook example coordination apa ngu tagi the dekal mal mga sulir trigal cook pebil la group mal devel kut maklegal cook programmer tir that invite me to be a part of it dak mal meaningful as sell the nga the invitation matoy das with tagi the actually pala waiver set eling either list cook tilov the video ring tel na momregal Interscholastic Youth Forum nanira February de la year that I was actually also a part of. So, the third example I get approach was the Sons of Surya my principals forum. I would make was so I could make lang ko that event youth. So other going to tigel ngalra school, high school, Marogul school at Salorier, elementary school. Me group nga school and me at the youth forum or a political forum or information forum interesting part to take the program of the part was and given the more facilitators was in walmong the agenda bititir nga school bititir top agenda gumio ding arse or they provide the guidance tira vast material la debate my give more say why gave the experience mal lunyil pararol lado lorens mong atsumong tigalo mesela tam was portal page pala wave si say in interscholastic youth forum morang sa tingin nga school everything that they said there was purely from their perspective emal mal mga sireng lang aygal cook perspective ng mga school is the ngil of top mal club rule mat mal really get there can facilitate so mo tong oklo lang sa kwasa they reflect most they are more aware of issues than most people like to think but the med superior about the mental health tige man masada preserve culture there to was the gimat proud that cleave that get so the preserving my language give the superior wellness suicide prevention mauspala lam kit lugar marom lang I think sir first the youth forum our principals may understand it was tiga di mom sa legal issues ra school again migagarel wa fundraising ma curfew ding by may masal although the masyuka ma mental health mong ngungil ak narsel orangs makmasara sa limitation among nakwas ay gay the rogo yang our youth policy kuma di quoting gay the mas nga kapala high school no was ngariga ko one stop shop ra youth
maral
to the moktor one stop shop ra ngul mora mo water ma ss ma retirees ngariga ko one stop shop really give the youth makwas tagi the repository ko masinik masimla online one stop shop ning Akmal mengusa ramen to reflect the first let you know get hopefully go mess I heard you I reflected on what you said ma group and then naknangu was tell repository maybe ngalendi wa phase 1 was saying one stop shop where are you maybe in the 2 years short term maybe long term you get the cook at mal blue at mal obis at mal mereder was saying direction to get a musig the das was one stop shop ra youth malunga di ngaya vessel tatalan get gut makli
malmaral to chief Alonz le semdo se tegi del one stop youth al chief ra youth and career development maybe asab edel ma reps ra 16 states el tigel maral active le baby ratay mega ka rep ding goramo oral masil sarangud and just listening to you and what your vaigal mo saw maya igal mongot mo kami ma minister matul en malbato ka blam rule and dinguk ti habem to de mo ais mangirin mo ko to melme o ais adra palu magim dingal wase maral bato kay gitel mo rule di waya last week or seragim interview ra Eastern Oregon University ya minister ni right betul lam le invite tak mamel le gora civic center ego to mo mesel imora project tel mo rule
oh isa project tige mere
la
345 oh interesting project and I'll say this I'll stress this again about 345 mut destiny Tirigal Mel guest. This was all their idea.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So, ulugum ko mo, makutamel, bloil method, makata kom share igal, bato ko lungil blam katmokla. Hopefully, in the future, kautel chief vertial youth and career development, hopefully, more year, amaral masisi, al-adal maralom teera, ngayas kara, blur bela, waigel direk katilu Dr. Zino, ral ngartial, wasi, ayu, gidadik mo you the future, LDY SMD, ayu ta tial present moment manggid and marad mula activity dan mo active al adarabuay whether in politics and tokora syugang klibelaw di kada di maral mong di malgot tokora marigel ko misal bebilar ngal game mga adu tadi message melwase molgor tiril amalolgot tokor belaw di gumda se tamla mo small di malgot tokora marigel sabaril el smodo terir aigel maral ngarir malgot tokora marigel
aigel apa yung tege the by kora last the 12 super ningi was nga der kulmara umrail more off island mara tela go mga other bebel are rather are go trigel youder bela ngar outside go kumlaw the sphere magukil kari gira la rele ma rele maguk rele ngartia ما interesting is the level other do يقول socialize ال young professionals ما ده كم يقرأ الأذن بس we're at least they're outside and then hopefully we're inside the as well we're outside for the time generation there is a generation that we want to outside the they haven't been here their entire life but they know about it. I don't want to say a movement, but a spirit that they're going outside the group. Sorry, the group talamerbela and find out where they're from. In Makpai, on it to question sell ngani the ngarat sell family to give magauding the gauding other masel either kwasa ngani kai the other bela ding bela outside maybe that local tor bela or maybe our school outside or maybe them dimna garel tom elang kai the visit welcome them back get was a youth are the present and then the reality we're facing was the outside community is another one to be paying attention to nang sila supira what tora you or sorry I'm not going to touch too much on it, but we always talk about chasing our migration, but the reality is we're talking about younger people. So the over there was state government, I got the top the masala was above the teenagers sitting, the young professionals, they got the love the high schooler. Outside. But that doesn't mean got about blue. Yes, got about 2,400 youth from 2022 in May. They're meaningful future leaders, future meaningful contributing citizens every day. School, the more school, top the more school. How do we create that environment? Dal ditat Sylvester Alonz sabel may lang kutmoklot sabel may wasanggo the mga opener tel agat tel ngani and then tirigan nga outside ubtor tira komasaway gay makpa actually by mga sulamit yang sak nga outside the komasaway gay the show to stay in touch
diang malungil chief Alonz como tulit tigal nga outside del guksoril may akora wonder wase lasab LTI del officer ka wa coordinate del lotabdi akora website el tirgel ngalgel belaw nga dainga el tiga tal mer belaw asab el kami wa coordinate loban tarir offer something tiagi de gora job shadow wal up the tutorial whole summer al ubang sel nga Christmas break ang el spring break el mel 2 weeks el dil mel lesang el asab iloader lobang la PCC el letal lol kornya minister matu el coordinate ta EOU ma PCC nga geldor melobang gelakal and then they pay so much. Ako na say imorat offered sa iul through Tegidal Youth and Career Development te kom identify gel career ra interested tirel memel ngaringi say gidel gora udor my partnership lol through Regal Ministry mol nga sertir through your office. Siya gora taraw da sul abay sa edel gut makli and then di hato tingel adi government pay half alup tira pay full fare and then you guys provide the transportation ma accommodation or but yeah I'm sure you follow. I mean, actor ring sir ka we kamral madu raw relem maral nga niya passionate ka when you're well versed in what you're doing, so I'm sure you guys you folks can come up with something kung sa minister kung dire kamal gora active. Yeah, so
I'm sorry to tell idea it's not usual of once how to exchange outside, but that's the reality we work with. So, the Udesuall smisi was yes ngayon group but kung ko koreng so ngaligam part active group encourage ni was din mon mga ngi. Course obviously together youth and sibam reach out at any time. Sel tirigang our bubble double sibal reach out mara capital 767-1126 adangwa. Ma obviously together ng civic center till 48 it took one line so 488-8584. Okay. 8584 or ngarang rulmud or the anywhere contact and was so mga other officer youth and then ngarang and then of course nga dim no one man and ding the super minister talaga super lang kada ka ding arela the mang selo ko la other question ngara ko na meeting ngara ger was
it's more like a one-stop shop too.
One-stop shop so reach out anytime and then actually encourage you they can reach out to Mortel National Youth and Elizabeth Council and find out more and say the chairman and get Miss Antonio and then Miss Palau and then nga closer partner there and then of course in a smaller state the tiri ko our repertoire say matsugumong akpa uspeta the kwase if you're not so sure but I'm contact officer at state lang mo ger kwaseta repertoire the National Youth and Development ko aknga state na let's walk more activity or and then we have been a few cases right now especially I think Southwest they reached out recently kwase we're the new youth reps or youth NGO ra Southwest Islanders mas state ta sponsor matobi so ngar national ngo mo yes I get good sa the question ngar support so tigil mo make a youth there last year so ngam ko sa National Wellness Symposium and then still actual youth day akmiro other super restu as go the lead ko mil kera bubble them regal youth there saying ako ngar youth day ako ngar yo this stop by so support activity sige daw ba lang ako sa regulata sa real support their youth mga regal ko initiatives from the top may go career every day so anything the contact office and let's chat even more.
Di hakambram so lang Chief Sylvester you know actor ring serkaw mat awdol blam kat makli kamal open narungum mal willing al help rangi dil at mang kameral lungil advocate rar magigaril other youth mak pay ko radio kel wase sukuma at akora komlom sa akora stress mental illness tigal magigaril at somebody sorry mga taadura at sabil contactor ka if they need someone to talk to then they also in mga taadura sa lirir ang adarar blirir to kora uspe anges when sabil contactor ka wem kora kaider tiraigel kora right tel at al ubang right tel obvious tira sabil mga taadu al ubang mga taadu ka
I say yes so actually that's a good way segue ko kumal masum there ko mas yes, I get them well. If you need to contact me directly, of course, there's ways to do that. And then open and willing as well. Otherwise, for yourself, as consider kwasego score Spanish to stress or parent or guardian or family member masada guk ngaligam maguk kauding and other that I'm really open to do that, and then I qualified nga certified psychological first aid sa Red Cross akong school akong you say the certification of Title 9.
What's that?
Listeners, sa Title 9 Amrigel, I think is victims of sexual violence or abuse, safe listener mo. So, dak psychiatrist, dak ka room. I'm trained the sesum ko may in an emotionally fragile state, dak panic, dak was the color down, though then work down, may release may. I won't panic. Ako kurang serga the situation you're facing, and then I have training across how do I advise you to get the help on nganing. So last akta high school counselor, and then recently Ministry of Health involved in child protection.
Oh, that's good.
So I get what sensitive guys nga nga network nga ringi maguk training ak nangul get say lang the career development. Akman may work was at the more when you're at risk either through a rough background or upbringing or situations sensitive that the youth are coming from. Akman may server 6 at our school was some pura classroom down when they was in Galangal running the classroom. Mong 767 1126 or 488 8584. May, and then of course the Oriel Super Minister or one step because yes, and they want to achieve, and they will find a way to put you in touch with more cloud because he'll pay attention.
Kamaral masulang sel guring serkan mga kamaral reminder nga rapo serkara minister ngiral, you're just like on top of it. And you know you have I wrote my questions, you have everything covered. Kamaral malom sarungu me maral lelak larungu, and I think kadamral nga tangat kamla return and merbelaw nga isel passioner gal so amal help rarap especially at tukuniar magigaril ad makatamral nga tangat tulwase mlosop emel adal way gal nga tial obis at klarngum nga niya background der gal my experience der gal gal patokol plam rule. Thank you for coming back home, and I applaud you for your great job you're doing, and please ako mo makutamel meto mas ay sergi gal patokol plam rule lungil to ra ministry girelar magnias karablur belaw magamaral masulang delso me mol mlutan mal masum etong simra
mal masulang mal mutulungil o ingem marugulada loreng so mes tirigan ngar bela mar outside to gulitigal outside sel torak pa spek was Togubet more youth are ask more young at heart. Rokwedi youth.
Kamral masulang. Mata komral masaw lalul panggamamar el alsid se lome se oreng sertia matigel mo oreng se ome sertia rauriul kalemo be se lua se ngidil garmira tokorarngas ken sepil kontaktra chief Alonz se yakuk tokora tourism a chief masul mo komral masulang edi gumaklat garmil lua se nganya magitra egera erngul park ma tabel all donated mo ra scholarship ra ngalgedra tay ngak nganya magita may brel semle kabe kal ngarpitara ko state across ra asahi field bom check out ta magit te dira kaklugog nganya magitra ngara masik ta basta ngar mlangoy mam store badula honto mangang esar nganya magitang esar aklugog mamutagal store badula honto ka mar ngalge mem check out ta magitra papaldam komral masaw liat Dios lolmon lo makngal tangat tergi derogoy matial balwat komral masulang.
Marang maula mayap aungil madangali arngul belaw isayaul akmul mogon ar other belaw sayaul akmul mogon ar other belaw we say